Whew. Hey there. I'm kind of a little bit late and a little bit early here. Can everybody hear me okay? Just give a thumbs up if you can hear me. Meaning like. All right, so we're going to start here in about a minute. Does anybody, you can mention it now, any questions you have? Hey, Nick. Hey, Shago, Adelaide. So I can take questions as long as I can read them off of this screen you see right here. Which means I'm using airplane, I'm using my phone, it's the simplest thing. So those of you who haven't seen, I actually have a heck of a studio. You can see here. I got all kinds of lights, I got all kinds of stuff. I don't have time to use it because I'm too busy investing. And right now, a little bit of damage control with this COVID thing. And we're going to talk about that a little bit, let you guys know what I'm doing. You know, I was selling 5 houses, and I've upped that now. I'm selling 8. And it's funny, it's the extra 3 that I decided to sell are the first ones to go. Let me see if I can bring that back. Okay. Land tax lien sale. All right, friendly white guy, I remember you. Behave. Yeah, land, I'm telling you, you're going to know why land. I got an example up here to talk to you about land. And I wouldn't play with land right now. I mean, unless you're really a sophisticated investor, you know what you're doing, you got deep pockets. Hey, Tal. And I'm going to get into the example on the land here in a little bit. Hey, you know, and also, you know, you guys know my email, the channel's been blowing up far beyond what it used to be. And so where I used to help a lot of people, my mailbox is jammed full with about 50% not so good stuff. Not so smart questions, lazy questions, you know, really questions that nobody needs to ask me. And unfortunately, it still takes me, I got to go through it, open it up, look at it. Some people write very long, like, you know, 5-page letters. And the problem is, for me with that is I go through and I have a lot of really unnecessary things. And one of the things that's frustrating is I'm answering questions that if you bought the book, you'd already have the answer to. And hey, 4-wheel drive. So the easiest thing right now is I'm starting to just tell people, just buy the damn book. Because it's silly for me to answer 10 emails. The same, you know, I got to write the same thing almost every time. Or, you know, when for, you know, $10, and this is probably going to go up too. I'll probably raise the price of this. Amazon's been playing some games, but, or not Amazon, I think Kindle. But it doesn't matter. Either way, it's cheap. But I can't spend a half hour on 5 emails when you can just buy my book for $10. So you're going to hear more and more about me. People just, I mean, I'm just going to say, it's in the book. It's in the book. It's in the book. And I'll tell you, and I'm not, listen, just take, the book is a quick read. And there's people watching, of course, that have bought the book. It's a quick read. It's simple. I mean, you know, I love books like As a Man Thinketh, because it's something I can sit down and read through quickly. My book, I even read once in a while, to be honest, just so I remember where the chapters are. But it even keeps me on point. To be quite honest, you know, one of the best things about a book, you know, and I read books that are, that are like, I read a lot of old books, a lot of old books. Think and Grow Rich is one of my favorite, and some other ones. But it kind of reaffirms to you that you're doing the right thing. And when you read and you go, oh, good. Sometimes it's like, kind of like confirming that you're doing the right thing, okay? So I'm going to run through here. This is what I planned on talking about. I got to be a little more organized here, so I'm trying. I'm going to talk about, I did the economic cycles thing, the review over Manny's, and most of his stuff was good. I just think some of it didn't really apply to the little guy, the guy that's starting out, or the guy that has even less than $1 million. Yeah, get the book, because I'm not going to answer a lot of questions if you don't have it. But what Manny was talking about is buying, primarily his emphasis is the same as mine. You buy on the way up. Now, what I'm not sure, and I made this chart here just so you understand, I don't know if we're going to do this, okay? In meaning, let's just say this is 3 or 4 years, okay? I don't know that we're going to do that. There's a chance, because here's the deal. We're not having a regular economic cycle. This is new. We were financially very strong. I mean, we've never had so many people working ever as we had before this COVID thing. So it's not like we've overbuilt and now we got all these empty houses and empty commercial spaces, and people are out of work. It's not like that. We have people out of work. Don't get me wrong. We have people out of work, and we are going to hurt. Well, I mean, I'm selling a lot of property, but I don't know that it's going to be this big, long fall. I'm kind of hoping that it's this. This is different. Correct. It's different. And so because it's different, I think rather than boom, coming down here, maybe, and maybe we still come down here, but we come back up a lot quicker. Really, that would be a more accurate, is I don't know if we're going to do this, like Manny was showing, or if we might do something a little bit more like this, and this is not exact, obviously. I can't predict what's going to happen. But the difference is that this is shorter, maybe this is 18 months. I don't know for sure. But what I do know for sure is this. We've got this problem that we just had, right? We'll just look, I'll make a little one here for you to follow me. We just had this COVID thing, right? Okay. Most people can't afford to go without a paycheck for 2 months. So people were hurting and didn't get it, and then they got a Band-Aid. Okay, it's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid. So you've got this 2-month Band-Aid. We'll just say this is a month and this is the second month. You've got this Band-Aid that went out that's helping everybody get by. So a lot of people are like, oh crap, this is horrible. Then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, they got a check. And they're going, oh, this isn't so bad. And it isn't so bad. But it's when the Band-Aid wears off, okay? You still have people afraid, like I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I haven't wrestled other than with my kids for 2 months. And those gyms have to open back up. And I have two jiu-jitsu tenants, okay? And one's open, but we're not wrestling just yet. But we're doing the drills and stuff, and it's all great stuff. But we've got that, then you've got dance studios, and now what comes into play is occupancy. So let's say you got a building that'll handle 100 people, okay? That's the occupancy of this building. Well, the restrictions that might be local to you, and they're kind of generally the same in different areas that are being restricted, they're going to say you can only do 25% of your maximum occupancy. Well, the good news is most people don't hit their maximum occupancy. So that just means that you could handle 100, well, you can only have 25 out of 100 people in there now. Now, people that don't use the maximum occupancy and they only use about 25%, and there's a lot of them, are not going to be that effective. They'll spread, if it's a restaurant, maybe they'll spread the tables out a little more. The bar stools, you're going to get further apart, and they maybe even get bolted to the ground because nobody wants to get sued. So these are things that we don't know exactly how much fear is instilled in people. And, there's some people that might make this COVID thing scarier than it needs to be, and there's some people that might underplay it, you know? So those are the things that we don't know, because a lot of this crap gets politicized and you don't know which side's gonna win. And, but things can get, yeah, exactly, bolt them down. So, you know, people aren't hanging on each other. I don't know if you know this, but like I've got restaurants that are open, that are allowed to open, but I've got bars that rent from me too. And the bars, if they're strictly a bar, they're not allowed to operate right now. They're still stuck, they're closed. And it hurts. And those are the things that we don't know. And people are out of work. And now also there's some of these restaurants that are coming back saying, okay, come back to work. Some of the people don't even want to come back to work because they're making more on the unemployment than they did when they were working. And it's an issue. Another issue, this is a personal issue for me, our government screwed things up a little bit because they gave everybody that $1,200 check. I mean, I didn't get it, but everybody under, I don't know what the limit was, $60,000 or $80,000 a year, whatever it is. Everybody, whether they were working or not, got a government check, okay? That's ridiculous to me. It only should have gone to the people that were out of work, because then you could have sustained those people for another 4 months, right? If 20% of the workforce is out of work, 20% of the people that could get a check got a check, no. So free money, as you put it, Nick, a bunch of people got a check that aren't affected. A lot of government workers. I mean, I don't know if you look, but I mean, I got all kinds of, you know, we got tents under bridges, we got grass that isn't mowed along the highways, everything looks like shit, and those people are still getting paid. And the bus drivers are getting paid, and the school, you know, I mean, not every bus driver, but the teachers and everybody's getting paid. Now it's summertime anyway, so it's a different thing. But, so hey, also hit that like button, please. Would you please hit the like button if you like what you're hearing? I mean, maybe you don't like what you're hearing, but if you appreciate what I'm talking about, please hit it. Helps the channel. So back to, I was selling 5 houses before COVID hit, and I was showing you guys the progress of what I was doing. I just fenced them, and I wasn't putting too much. I tiled some of them. These are houses that should be probably ultimately tore down because the lot is worth, you know, I don't know what it's worth today, but I mean, these are houses. Last one I sold for $430,000. Last 2 that I sold for roughly $400,000 and $430,000. They're going to mow the houses down. They're renting them right now for $2,200 a month. And that's why I'm selling them, because I don't want to get $2,000 a month on a $500,000 asset. That's not good investing, folks. And it's a terrible return on the investment. But the jump is nice. The money that I'm going to make on the property is awesome. But no, it's not a good time to buy a lot. It's not a good time to buy land. And I'm going to explain to you why. So we'll start with that. Sorry, I'm trying to keep organized here. Instead of selling 5 houses, I'm selling 8 now, okay? I'm selling all the houses that I have empty or could have empty. I actually sold 2 to some friends that gave them a really great deal. But here's the beauty. Because I bought these properties, you know, roughly 25, maybe 30% under market, I'm able to sell these properties for 20% and 25% under what the market was when I bought them. So in other words, if it was worth, I paid $270, say. I paid $270 for a property, or $260 for a property I expected to sell for $330. Well, I just sold that property, or in writing, I sold it for $270, $275. So I didn't lose any money. I'm making money, and it was rented all year. The people that I bought it from, they paid me cash and then they rented from me. Or I mean, I paid cash for the house, they rented from me. And then, yeah, I'm selling some of the properties that I bought in the last 6 months. And this is why. And this is why I don't buy land right now, okay? This is why land. Okay, so look at this example. Can you guys see this? Okay, so here's a house, okay? This is a house sitting on a piece of land. This is land, okay, right here, okay? And this is land, say too, but let's just ignore this for now. We'll just go up here. So let's say I've got a house sitting on a piece of land that's worth $500,000. It's worth $500K, okay? Well, now we have a downturn. It doesn't matter if it's a 2009, but we're talking about COVID right now. So we got this downturn. Well, right now, like I say, we got a Band-Aid. When this Band-Aid wears off, which is going to start wearing off here in the next month, those people that are still out of work are going to be out of work. And the businesses that are out of business, or the businesses that are partially in business, they're not going to employ as many people. They're going to struggle. You're going to have families, even if 2 people are working, maybe one of them's not. I mean, think about this. Right now, if you're in a room with 5 people, one of them is likely to be out of work. 1 out of 5, okay, of your friends is not going to have a job. So that means to me, there's going to be less people that can afford to buy a home. And there's going to be more people that have a home that need to get out of it. So you're going to have people selling their homes to get rid of them. And then you're going to have, and they're not going to be looking to buy something, or maybe they're going to look to buy something further out. There's different speculation. Maybe they'll buy further out of town in the suburbs where I invest quite a bit. So maybe I'm taking this step because I don't want to get stuck with any of this stuff right now. I'd rather have cash and buy on the upswing again. And I want commercial. You guys know that I primarily like commercial, office, industrial. That's what I like best. So back to my example. So let's say I have a house that's worth $500,000 and I have 5 of them right now, and then I have several that are worth $330 or whatever, roughly. Well, I actually considered I was going to get $600 for these. But this example, we're talking about $500K. Well, if all of a sudden things take a 20% hit, now everything's worth $400,000, right? Okay. Now let's say that the vacant lot next door was worth $250,000. So you got $250,000 in house, meaning construction cost, $250,000 construction cost, $250,000 lot equals a $500,000 home. All of a sudden things are going down the tubes. That 20%, that drop, that's 100% out of the land. It's all out of the land, and I'll explain to you why. Your construction cost is still going to roughly be $250 in this example, $250. Construction cost didn't change. It costs the same for those materials, for the labor. It hasn't changed much. The lot is the difference. So why would you build a $250,000 home on a $250,000 lot when you can buy that for $400,000? So that's why the lot takes it all. The lot's no longer worth $250. Now the lot's worth $150. Okay, it is. So the land is the first thing that takes a hit. When the values drop, construction costs don't drop. The value of the land drops. It's under the property. That's why there's going to be opportunities to buy properties where you're getting the land cheaper because there's a building on it that still costs a lot of money to rebuild. So that's why I don't believe in buying land right now. I just don't think it's ideal. I mean, I looked at a piece of land that I might buy today, but it's big. But next I'm going to talk about what do I got here? Okay, so you know why I'm selling the 8 houses. I think that things are going to drop. I don't think we're going to have this big recession. I'm hoping that we have more of this, shorter term, but I want cash. I want as much cash as I can get right here. Okay, and I might buy some stuff up on the way. I've got a pretty decent cash flow coming in, even with some renters having trouble and some vacancies. I'm in good shape. So that's all. I hope to fill some of these other vacancies I have up. In fact, I have some interesting offers coming in. I met with some people yesterday. But this is industrial commercial stuff. Now over here, yeah, Jed, I don't know. I don't want to mislead you. I don't think anybody can accurately predict what's going to happen because we have very strong financial cycle, and you know what I mean? It's not a regular cycle. We were very strong, and COVID hurt us. Now, how long it's going to last, I don't know. But so back to through these here. Okay, so land drops the most. I got that covered. I'm sorry, let's look at those questions again. I don't know. There's speculation that people are going to start. I got a daughter that's an accountant, just socking money away like crazy because she lives at home, and now she's working at home. She got a bedroom. And, it's a 24-year-old daughter. I have 4 kids. My boys are playing the stock market, which is pretty cool, and they're young, like 16. Okay, well, dual, I don't know. I mean, if you go to LA right now, LA's rented up all kinds of apartments for the homeless. To me, this is the dumbest thing ever. They've rented up all these properties in Los Angeles, and even I think I heard today that even the Ritz-Carlton was told they're going to get punished if they don't rent, if they don't rent for some of the homeless to come in, a certain percentage of their units. And I've understood that there's even one town that the county took, and I don't know if this is LA County, but they took all the hotels. And so the hotels, so it wouldn't hurt their brand, they just put a canvas over all the signs. They don't want anybody even stopping in. And I can tell you, it's a mistake. You don't want, there's all kinds of drug dealers, there's all kinds of garbage people under the bridges. And I mean, I've gone under the bridges, okay? And not everybody is just a poor, mixed up human being. It ain't that way. And believe me, I have cameras at night. I see all kinds of garbage. People checking my doors, wanting to come in, and drug deals. They drop drugs. I had 100 pills dropped in front of one of my properties the other day, and it's just disgusting. And right now, these hotels, I can tell you right now, and I'm getting off subject here a little bit, but I can tell you, I talked to cops. These cops have to be, some cities have bought like hotels or apartment complexes, and then they refurb them for the homeless to come in and stay. Like, everybody deserves a home, right? Whether they pay for it or not. Well, that's what they're doing. And they have to have a cop there 24/7 because of the damn fights that break out and the bullshit that happens. The other thing is, no, believe it or not, I'm not in California right now, but I was born in Los Angeles, bought a lot of property in LA. But it doesn't matter. It's anywhere USA where this stuff is, supported. But the cops will tell you that these free houses that they got, or apartments, they're the equivalent of a locker. These guys come, throw their crap in there, and then they're gone. Then they're gone for 3 or 4 or 5 days at a time, and they come back. They're not even living there. They go back under the bridge and beg and borrow and steal, and then they throw their crap in the free apartment. So, yeah, Nick, I'm willfully taking a 20% hit. Believe me, I can, because you'll hear, you've heard people that I've, done a review on saying, other than Manny, which I'm more linked to Manny in my mindset. But people are saying, oh, properties haven't changed. Really, the values haven't gone down. Well, they haven't gone down because everybody was frozen in place. That you couldn't borrow, nobody could go to work. The loans weren't processing at the rate that they were. People couldn't even go look at real estate in different places. They didn't want them in, you couldn't have somebody in your home strangers walking through your home with your kids when you're supposed to be quarantining. So anyways, so that's bullshit when people tell you that nothing's dropped. It's because nothing's gone up, nothing's sold. There's nothing to reference really. So, but yes, I anticipate a 20% drop as soon as the Band-Aid, the 2-month Band-Aid wears off, which is right now. It's starting to wear off now. I've got restaurants coming back. I actually went out today. I went to Hop Dottie and had a hamburger. It was awesome. I hadn't been out to eat at a restaurant in 2 months. So that was very nice. And even then, you couldn't even get ketchup. Couldn't take ketchup to your table. Couldn't take mustard to your table. There was nothing on the table to put on your hamburger. Anyways. I don't like out-of-state. Somebody asks, how do I feel about out-of-state investing? I don't like it. I've done it. I do it for friends. I'll fly out. A friend of mine's going to move into a new community for a job or whatever. I'll go out there and just bird dog the hell out of the place in a few days. And we'll find something to buy and we'll get a decent deal, okay? Just digging in hard, do a little preparation before I go and then just dig in. Hey, Anna Marie. We'll be talking to you soon about mentoring. Anyways, I think I answered the question. What else we got? Yeah, Grant's going to get hit hard. He's going to get hit hard. In fact, I can tell you, a buddy of mine, he sold about a $6 million apartment complex. I'm going to have him on the show someday. He's a good friend of mine. I've known ever since. He left Santa Barbara, and I followed him to a place he went to. I have a lot of respect for him. Oh, yeah. Brandon, wrong channel. Yeah, go for it, friendly white guy. Go do it. You want to buy a hotel and turn it into low-income housing? No thanks. Okay, so Nick, you want to talk through the 8 properties? I'll just vaguely go, I mean, not too deep, but like I said, I've got some 5 properties that I was selling that are worth about $500,000 to $600,000, and the reason I'm selling those is because they're a terrible return on investment. I mean, these are things I paid $100,000 to $200,000 a piece for, and I held them for a while because I thought maybe my kids will live in the neighborhood. I'm kind of giving up on that dream, but the bottom line is they were only producing after expenses and taxes and everything else. I don't even think I was making $12,000-$15,000 a year on them, even though they were completely paid for. But I'm not gonna accept a 2% return on a $500,000 asset. So that's why the return. You got to look at your return on investment. What is your return on investment? And that's why you've seen me be critical of Meet Kevin. Listen, the more valuable a house gets, the rents don't keep up pro rata. They fall, and it just becomes it's a horrible return on investment on cash. Now, if you're buying it under market right away, then great. Buy it under market, and that you should make your money the day you buy a property. If you want to buy something and wait for it to go up in value, that's speculating. Go ahead and do it. But believe me, the guys that are doing that right now are already, if they bought 20% down, or they're paying damn near full price. They got an asset. The rents are going to go down. The rents are going to go down too, by the way. It's just how it is. When it comes, Natasha, she said, what's the furthest property I'll buy that's away from me? I try to keep it within 5 miles. I really like to drive by it. I don't like going much more than 5 miles from my work or 5 miles from my home, either direction. So I would say, I'm really lazy. Here's the good thing, if you can look at me, is you don't have to go far away. There's a book, Diamonds Everywhere, or Diamonds. The gist of the book is you're standing on the diamond mine, but everybody keeps looking somewhere else. You're in the diamond field, but you keep walking out of the field to go somewhere that's unfamiliar to you. And that's the silliest thing you could ever do. That's why I tell you, if you got my book, get my book. But I'll tell you right now, you work. It goes back to my real estate barbell. Somebody tell the folks what a real estate barbell is. It's got my book. Okay. All right, that's easier for me to just spit it out. Anyhow, just say this is work and this is home. These are the areas you frequent. As you go home, you visit the neighborhood around your home. As you go to work, you do the same thing. Whether it's going to lunch or whatever, you jump around your work area, you search those neighborhoods, and there you go. Thanks. You're Risha? I assume. Yeah, exactly. You buy around your work, you buy around your home, and then at some point you'll start buying up properties in between. And that's what I got. Usually there's a highway or a main thoroughfare. I've got strip centers and office buildings and all kinds of stuff between my home and my office, and then I've got, same thing. I've got commercial, industrial, I've got houses, around my work, and I got all kinds of houses around my home, and I also have offices around my home. I got everything nearby. But I like driving by and seeing what I got. And I also, I've got ring setups on properties. I have camera setups. I can get on there and say, hey, get the hell off my property, or I'm calling the cops. And then I call the cops immediately anyways. And because I don't want it. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know where you're going to go where everything, unless you go to Dubai or something. The question was, what do you do if everything's $1 million within 30-mile range? I don't think it's going to happen, number one. But it doesn't matter. Just study the market. I don't care. If the homes around you are worth $1 million, great. Go find something and get it tied up for $700,000 or $600,000. And that's all you need to do. If you have the rights to buy a property, for 70% of value, you've already made your money. Like I say, you make it on the purchase. People get caught up. Should I buy a duplex? Should I buy a lot? Should I buy a house? And I tell you, there are no bad properties. There's just bad deals. You don't make a bad deal. You make a good deal. It doesn't matter what you buy. Now, you may have a problem. I mean, I can look at pretty much everything. When I'm looking at a house, I'm looking at the lot too. I know what the value is of a lot. I know what the value of the construction cost is. And you will too if you do your research. So the bottom line is, it doesn't matter if you're in $1 million neighborhood. Just look at everything that's for sale. Look what it's in the book. Look at what sells, and then you're going to know what everything's worth. Okay? Then you can go do your investigate, and maybe you'll find. Yeah, Ring cameras are awesome, by the way. But you just got to do your homework on the properties around you, because, I mean, listen, if you're in $1 million neighborhood and you don't have $1 million, don't worry about it. Study the market. All you need is $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 for a down payment, for a deposit, to tie something up. And if you can tie up a house that's worth $1 million with $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000, whatever at that level, that's fine. Tie it up. You have a 1 month look where you can get your money back if you write your contract right. Then go find the money. Just go find the money. And if you don't know who, you don't know anybody, you're not connected, that's okay. Listen, it's not hard to find money. Go to the car dealer and say you want to talk to the owner of the car dealership. He's got money. There's plenty of people that are established that have money in an area. But for one thing, the houses that you saw sell in that neighborhood that you've been studying, if you do your homework, a lot of people are lazy and don't do this shit. You got to do your work. That's why you'll be sharper than any real estate agent in the area, because you'll know the market better than anybody else, because you're concentrating on the homes in that particular area around your house. And then when a house goes up for sale, or you find somebody that may be off market, hey, they'll take $700,000, go write that contract up. You can say, I'll pay you cash in 30 days. It's going to be cash. It's going to be cash, whether it's with a loan or whatever. So, and then sometimes people take you more seriously and say, look, I'm just going to pay you all cash. I don't have it now, but I'm going to write you a check. And you could even make it non-refundable. I write plenty of checks where I do a deposit. And that's my way of telling people, look, I am sincere. I am going to buy this property. Here's a $10,000 check that after 5 days, and I know the title's clear, it's non-refundable. You can keep it. And if something comes up, maybe I'll get my money back in that 5 days. But otherwise, let it ride. Because I'm going to close it, or I'm going to go find somebody. And I'm trying to say sources of money, right? The agent that sold that house and that house and that house that you've been studying, go straight to her or him and say, listen, I got a house I'm buying. I'm buying it for $700,000. I know you know people that are interested in this neighborhood because you've sold a house or two in this neighborhood. You've seen people come in here and look at it. Those people are connected to potential buyers. They might even be a possible buyer. I've sold properties to agents before. In fact, this is funny. I tell you, one time I bought so many lots in this one area. What was funny is I bought a lot in this office, this one real estate office, and an agent in the same office bought that lot off of me that was listed in their office. She bought it from me and gave me $10,000 more than what I paid for it. I think I paid 10 or 12. She paid 22 for it. But that's what I'm telling you. People think, oh, why would anybody do this? Why would anybody do that? Not everybody works. Not everybody works and does what they're supposed to do. That's why. I've talked about this before. I've been in Compton looking at properties, and I don't like bad neighborhoods. I don't like crime. I don't like any of it. In fact, I'll tell you a funny story. A friend of mine, very wealthy guy, he hit a major home run. I'm not going to get into how, but it wasn't in real estate, but he made a huge amount of money. Well, he was an entrepreneur, and he was working in LA, and he got one of those hotsy things, the power washers with the superheated, hot water and for cleaning off graffiti and everything else. Well, he made a deal with a chain of restaurants to eliminate the graffiti. And so he's spraying all the graffiti off these trash cans, these dumpsters and things and walls, and then he gets home later on and he sees like a bullet hole, okay, in his truck, I think it was. I already heard a couple things that sounded kind of weird, like ping, ping, and he gets home later and there's bullet holes. And he realizes that those bullet holes happened while he was blowing the graffiti off these trash cans. They were gang symbols, okay? They were gangs marking their territory, and it was pissing him off. So anyways, he dropped that business, and he did very well doing something else. But, so look, if you just got here, I have a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. I often reference it. People know, chapter 27 right now. That's what I'm doing, chapter 27. And that's what you should do. So anyhow, in regard to mentoring, I got to tell you guys, so I get lots of requests for mentoring, and I'm going to do some mentoring, okay? I'm not going to do it for anybody. A lot of people count on, they'll mentor anybody, okay? I'm not going to do that. And one of the reasons why is I don't want to help anybody that I don't think I can help. I don't want to help anybody that I don't think is going to do the right stuff. I don't want their expectations to be too high. I'm just saying, I can't do it. And one of the reasons why is, like I said, I've been helping people for free for several years here, and that's fine. But my mailbox is so jammed now that I have to go through a lot of garbage requests. I mean, a lot of like, do I need a realtor to buy a piece of property? Do I have to pay the mortgage off? When I sell my house? It's like, okay, I can't do it. I'm not going to answer those questions. And so rather than that, right now I tell people, buy my book. If you don't have my book, just don't ask me any questions if you don't have my book, unless it's here. I don't care. But if you just forget it anyways. But the other thing I was going to say is, what happens is, I got one email that says, Tom, this is time sensitive. When he was kind of going into the dire circumstances, really needed my help. Man, the thing was 10 days old, okay? It was 10 days old. And the reason I hadn't got to him is because I had all this crap to go through. And I feel bad. I feel like I kind of let somebody down. And I'm not going to have that. So I'm not going to have that. But you can go onto my site, FlipAnythingUSA, and right now, there'll be, at the bottom, there's a link. It says, need help with a deal. That's going to change to, need some help, and then or something, I don't know. But that's where you can find that out. And I hadn't even quite figured it out. I've been talking to people here and there about what they would like in a mentor and what they, how much hand-holding they need. Yeah, Papa Red, you sound like a good candidate. You got money? Not that it matters. You got to have some intelligence. And if I don't think somebody's going to work, or if I don't think they're very, if I don't think I can help them, I'm not going to do it. Let me just make it simple. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but if I don't think I can help you, I'm not going to do it. Okay, so how to approach buying assets from large holding companies. I can tell you, I bought a hell of a building. I don't know if you guys know who Mission Linen. Mission Linen is in Santa Barbara. I bought a building from Mission Linen 30 years ago, okay? Maybe 30, I don't know, maybe longer. 30 years ago? God, yeah. Hate to say it. It might have been 35 years ago, okay? So Mission Linen is a big company, and they just handle the linens everywhere for all kinds of hotels, and, they wash, I don't know exactly what they do, but, a long time ago, even they used to have cloth coming out of the machines that you use weren't even paper. They were like a roll of linen. And they would just roll and roll and roll until they ran out. But you were actually wiping your hands on a real towel. I don't even know if they do that anymore. Probably not. But they're a big company. And I went to them and I said, hey, I want to buy this building. And I just started sending them letters and saying, look, I want to buy this. And they never even came out and looked at the building. And I remember the building, look up here if you can. So I remember the building had, let's just say this is the building. It was down the road from one of my other. Well, it had been some sort of a laundry plant at one time. It had some pits. This is a side view, looking at the building sideways. So there's the front door. But it had pits, a couple of weird pit things. I'm not even sure what they were. But the slab in the building it went like this, and then it dropped 6 inches, and then it went this way. And it really didn't matter because it had a wall. It was like 2 units to me anyways. But what I did is I wrote them and I said, hey, I'll give you X I think I offered, I said, I'll give you 120 or 130, or I'll give you a 105 if you'll fix this, that, and I offered them more if they do a bunch of repairs. And they're like, I know they don't want to do the repairs, but they said, okay, we'll take the lower offer. And I think they even owner carried the damn thing. I can't remember for sure anymore. It didn't matter. Finding the money, I'm telling you, is not such a big issue. Finding the deal's tough. Finding the money is not so hard. Even if you don't know anybody, you'll find somebody. Okay. Dual, read the book. You don't need to ask these questions. Just some of this, you just got to just read it, man. There's you're going to learn from experience too. And I don't mean to be hard on you, Dual, but trying. You got to try, okay? So much of learning is by trying. And, people say, oh, you get lucky. Well, it's not luck. It's trying. It's trying and trying and trying and trying. And, there's an old saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Well, me too. Okay, that's how it works. The harder you work, the luckier you'll get. Hey, please hit that like button if you just came in the last 10 minutes or so. I'm not even sure how much battery I got left on my phone here. But we've been talking for 40 minutes. We're probably okay. But if it goes dead, you'll know why. Is there going to be a market for converting office to residential? I don't think so. One thing, look at Amazon. They're delivering everything, right? I've bought a lot of stuff, microphones and different things that I've needed just for this channel. Looks like retire rich. I'm not sure what that says, but hey, thanks for watching. All right, let's have somebody ask a question. Who's got a piece of property? Is anybody buying something right now? I don't use Freddie Mac loans or Fannie Mae loans. I don't know. I don't know much about them, to be honest. I pay cash for just about everything now when it comes to houses, just because I don't like borrowing for residential. It's a pain in the ass. Even for me, it's a pain in the ass. Mario, I would say your best source for land appraisal is go look at land where you want to buy. Go look at where you want to buy and see what it's selling for. That's how you'll appraise the value. I'm telling you, you can't just expect to go to the computer and go, what's this worth? The tax assessor's office, those values, it's a point of reference, but it's not certain. Zillow, Trulia, all those, none of them are perfect. None of them are perfect. In fact, I usually sell property for far more than even what Zillow has it posted for. Yeah, it's just how it is. But what you do is when you call on a property that's for sale, and there's tactful ways of asking an agent, how much did it sell for? They're not really supposed to divulge it until after the sale. Well, they'll let you know. They'll let you know if you know how to talk to people. They'll let you know. It actually sold for a little over market, over what we were asking for. Well, she just answered my question. It sold for what they were asking for, and even a little bit more. And then you can ask another question. You'll get a better deal as well. You'll get an idea. I'm like I say, Zillow. It's a reference. It's a reference. I'll tell you what, Zillow can be really good if somebody bases their value on what Zillow says, and Zillow's way off. And you go, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, buying a shopping center. You know what? I don't know. I can tell you, I get a barrage of emails every day from commercial brokers. I think some of them think I'm an agent, but they just know that they see me having stuff for lease and for sale a lot, and so I'm in the list. And what I've seen is they'll say, "Hey, I've got a 6 cap, and a AAA tenant," and then all of a sudden after COVID, now it's a 7% cap. Oh, now it's an 8% cap, and it's because they fear they're going to lose some tenants. They're bailing. And I started to tell you about a friend of mine that sold. He just sold an apartment building in the middle of COVID. He was very nervous that it wasn't going to close. And these guys weren't sharp enough. I don't even know. It might have been, I don't know, it might have been, maybe Grant Cardone bought it. I don't even know. To be honest, I really don't know who bought it. But he's not even sure. He knows it was a big group, that's what they do. So it could have been a real estate investment trust of any kind. But $6 million place. He had it occupied at about 90 or 92%, I think he told me. And he said it was down to 70% occupancy after the COVID thing. And I don't know exactly why or exactly what happened, but again, he couldn't believe that they closed the deal. In fact, they pinched him for another 30 grand last minute before closing, and he really pissed him off. But he said, okay, no problem. And he let him have it because that 30 grand off was a gift compared to what could have happened if he was stuck with it now and he had, 30 grand. That'd probably represent 1 week's rent, overall in the whole complex. Okay, you put 200K in stocks. Well, yeah, the stocks, I'm telling you, I don't buy stocks at all. And the reason, I've never been able to make sense of stocks for me because I make so much more on my cash than I'd ever make. I mean, you can have a stock that goes up 3 times. So what, you put 10 grand in there, and in a year you make 30, 40 grand. That 10 grand, I can buy one lot and make 20 grand. I can do it 3 times in a year or more and get bigger stuff. So it never makes sense for me with stocks. But if you can do it, well, that's great. In fact, sometime maybe I'll share it with you guys. I got an email from a guy. Said, Tom, buy American Airlines. It's going to go up, I think, 7 to 10 times. And I'm like, I just had got a bunch of cash in my hands too. And I go, I don't buy stocks. I say, you sure this is for me? He goes, no, I'm letting you know. And I go, yeah, I don't want it. I'm not interested right now. Anyways, so he's telling me to buy the stock. Well, I should have bought it. If I'd have paid 100 grand, it would have been $5 million because it went from the $1.18 that I could have bought it for, it went up to $50 a share. So, but that's really unusual. That is an exception to the rule. But if, in hindsight, yeah, but it's not usually how it goes. But if you think you can do it, go for it. I don't know about stocks, so I can't advise you on the bottom line. I can just tell you that it doesn't work for me and the reasons why it doesn't. Okay, back to questions. Am I lucky or skilled? No, I'm skilled, but I'd get lucky too. What's your thoughts on real estate market next year? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm telling you, just wait. I can tell you my thoughts are sell. If you got anything that you're within 20%, you only have 20% equity, unless you feel really good about it, for whatever reason, that there's more value there or there's going to be. I mean, I'm not a speculator. I make my money the day I purchase it. And a lot of the stuff that I bought, I bought some houses in that $300,000 range. The day I bought it, it was worth, $30,000, $40,000 or more. I'm paying like $240,000 for a house that's worth $320,000. Well, I'm selling those places. And I'm selling them for 20% off what I think the market was before COVID. And I'm still making 10 to 15%. And that's okay. But I'm not so sure I'm going to be able to do that in another month from now. Residential cap rates in my area are much better than commercial. Well, listen, you can get an 8%. What's the rent? So let's go back. That's a good question. Talk about your residential, your 8% cap. What's the rent and what's the asset worth? John S. Because I can tell you, I can get an 8% cap too on a property that rents for $1,000 a month if I'm paying 80 grand for it. Or if I get 1,200 on a place I pay 110, or something like that, you can do that. And you can do that. Actually, just depends on where you're at, but for the most part, once that asset becomes worth $200,000, you're not going to get an 8% cap on it. Once that goes to $300,000, relative to the market. In New York, it could be when it goes from $500,000 to $1 million, you're not going to get twice as much rent. Okay, so $2,500, and what's the asset worth, John? What'd you pay? So you're getting $30,000 a year, right? anyways, I'm trying to get to what John's saying here. 250,000, okay, and you're getting 2,500 a month. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But do you think you'll get $5,000 on a $500,000 asset? And is the 250 what it's worth, or is the 250 what you paid for it? Because there's a big difference. Now, I'll give you an example, and John, think about what I just said. But here's the deal: I can buy a property for say $2 million, okay, and maybe it has, like, I'll give you an example. I had a property that I did pay about $2 million for. And it had a 7.5% return, okay? But that was with a 30% vacancy, okay? So when I got that other 30%, it brought it up to about 11% return on what I paid for it, okay? But even though I paid $2 million and it looks great that I'm getting 11%, I'm really not, because it's worth $3 million, okay? It's worth $3 million, and at $3 million, it's bringing in 6%. So in other words, if it was bringing in 180,000, and yeah, I paid $2 million for it, well, that's a pretty decent return. But it's really, I'm going to be able to sell it for $3 million. I can get a 6%. It's crazy, maybe with a 10% vacancy factor still. But anyways, when you market to value what it's really worth, the return comes way down. So let's see what John said. John, I gotta need more information, but anyways. Nah, it didn't look like. If you come up, I'll look at your numbers. But you bought an apartment for $40K, finance $36K. Oh, I can't answer that question, guy. That's too. Just do the math. You know your return. Yeah. See, John just said it. So John, see, that's what I'm talking about. He said right here on the bottom, he's talking about it's worth $250, and he's got an 8% cap? He's got an 8 cap on it. Well, that's a good little return, okay? It's okay. It's okay. I wouldn't buy it, but it's okay. It's not bad. Really compared to what I have at the moment, but I had stuff that was going up so fast, I went ahead and let it. I had it run. I had leases that still had 2 years left on their lease, and by the time their lease finished up, the homes that I paid $122.20 for were worth, $500,000 to $600,000. But that's what is so wrong about it is they were bringing in about $1,800 to $2,000 a month, and they're worth $500,000. It's a terrible return on the money. Well, explain the return on net worth. Well, I do it by cap rate. I do it as if I paid cash for it. Because if I borrow, let's just say I'm getting 8%. I put, $500,000 on $1.5 million investment. I expect to get, say, whatever, 10% on the $500,000 I put down, and I want to get 10% on the other $1 million, even though I'm paying 5% on the money. So I'm going to make 5% on the $1 million, and I'm going to make 10% on the $500,000. That's the cash I put down. So in the end, depending on how you want to look at it, I can look at it as I'm getting a 20% return on my $500,000. But again, that's the beauty of real estate, and that's why you can get rich in real estate. Is it's one of the only assets that you can borrow from banks very easily, and it's one of the only assets you can borrow from banks. Banks are comfortable with real estate, right? It's a fixed asset. So it's one of the only assets you can buy that appreciates. In other words, a bank will finance because they know it goes up in value. And they're not going to do it for you on a tractor or a car. That's why you have the accelerated payoffs. They'll sell you a car, they'll finance a car for 5 years, and they'll finance a house for 30, 40 years. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Papa Red. I appreciate that. anyways, to that, because I know my battery's going down, I'm going to have to call it quits here. We talked almost an hour. I've talked almost an hour. Anyhow, please thumbs up the video. I hope you learned something, or I hope I helped you figure something out here. Like I told you about the mentoring, you can go to send me an email, tom@FlipAnythingUSA.com, tom@FlipAnythingUSA.com. You can just put mentoring in the subject line, and I'll get back with you, in a week or two. I'm still figuring it out. I think I got a pretty good plan. Actually, on that, I thought about just hammering and say, okay, we're going to hammer this over the next 3 months, and just say that's going to be the mentoring. It's like hammer this for 3 months, and then you can hang out after that and pop in for a year. But it's going to be, let's hammer this and get you smart as I possibly can. The book is awesome. The book is awesome. Get the book. You have to have the book no matter what. I won't mentor you without the book, because I'm going to point you to it a lot. Now, there's definitely, I can't put everything in a book like that, because there's different nuances to all kinds of things. And what I want to do is, and hear me out on this, for mentoring, what I really want to do is I want you to be able to make your own decisions. I don't want you to have to call me. And that's, I want to just make you as smart as possible. And, maybe you'll say, what would Tom do? I know what he'd do, because I'm looking at what he did in his book, number one. But with that, and then maybe I'll say, look, because I don't like anybody losing a deal. So I want to be there for you. If you got something, hey, so in other words, maybe you'll be able to call me, but I'm not going to take a call unless you have a deal signed. If you got something signed, or if you're having something that's about to be signed, don't waste your call on, hey, Tom, do I have to pay a mortgage off when I buy a property? I won't even take that kind of student, to be quite honest. What I want to do is that'll be my legacy, okay? I've made a lot of money in real estate. I'm very happy, man. And I'm liquidating some of my other businesses now. But I don't mind helping people, but I don't want it to be a waste of both of our times. I really, really, if I can make my legacy replicating myself in skill and making a lot of millionaires, and there's nothing make me happier on my deathbed, knowing that I made, maybe a few thousand people, wealthy. That'd be great. And it's wonderful. I think very fondly. You guys, if you look at some of my videos, you'll see that I have mentors, not necessarily real estate mentors, but some life mentors and some other mentors in different ways. And I pay them respect. Tony Korfman is a great guy, and John Brooks is a great guy, and somebody also I quote, he's the only one still alive, is Hank Booker. I don't even know if he's still alive. But I've talked about those gentlemen frequently. Hank Booker is the one who told me, and I'll tell you why, real quick. Hank Booker, he was a fireman. He worked 3 days a week. He'd get his 40 hours a week in 3 days. And then the other 4 days, he'd be pouring concrete and that sort of thing to make extra money, right? Then he would buy real estate. And by the time he retired from the fire department, like when he was in his 40s, he was a multimillionaire. And this is a long time ago. We're talking going back 40-something years now. And he was wealthy. And it was because he just had a good work ethic. But he told me something I never forgot. He said, and he bought a couple buildings from me, to be honest. He bought some piece of land and a building. And he goes, hey, Tommy, he bought 2 buildings from me, actually. He goes, you can never get hurt taking a profit. Because I was asking some of the questions like some of you guys are asking. Should I sell? Should I sell? And he's like, hey, you can never get hurt taking a profit. And his point was, yeah, the things are going down. Should I hold on until things come back up? Or maybe, I don't know what my question was. But he said, hey, you can never get hurt taking a profit. And that's why you probably see me dumping 8 houses now instead of 5, is because I'm taking a profit. Never get hurt taking a profit. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it short. You can go to the comments and ask questions into the comments, where we typically do after you watch a video. And I'll try to address some of your questions either next time we talk. But please hit that like button if you're watching and you haven't done it yet. If you like what you hear, hit it. And I love comments and the comment stuff. So if you comment in there, put your question in there. A lot of stuff flying by me here. I can't keep up with it all. And I know my battery's going to run out. So I'll I'll address your questions. And again, if you're interested in mentoring, if you go get the book, Maybe you don't even need a mentor. If you're a quick study, just read the book. But the bottom line is, if you want, go ahead. So, hey, thanks everybody. Shams, Fod, Realist, Anne Marie, if you're still there, Papa Red, Mario, Duel, Peter. Peter, I know you got some questions. Just throw your question in the comment. That's the other thing. I really don't like questions, to be honest, in email, because I've answered the question before. If I'm going to answer a question I've answered before, I would rather do it in the comment part under the video, because then everybody gets the benefit of it. And when I start doing these Facebook groups, it'll just be for either book people or my mentoring class, the questions are going to happen there. So everybody gets the benefit of the question and the answer. It's just wonderful. Hey, great, Ann. Thank you for watching so long. Everybody gets the benefit of the question and the answer. It's productive, okay? You got to be very productive with your time. You got to be very productive. And that's how I am. I don't like to waste time. And that's why a lot of people love my book so much. It's because there's no fluff. It's just, this is it. Do this, do this, do this. It's to the point. I don't like fluff. And that's why you see me critical of these jackasses sometimes that do these videos, and they just get to the damn point, So that's it. That's it. Hey, thanks everyone. Please hit that like button and subscribe. Subscribe, number one, subscribe. That helps the channel grow more than anything, and share it with other people. In your neighborhood, don't share this with anybody in your neighborhood. Don't try to do things, really, I don't recommend doing things with a friend. I mean, you got to find it within yourself. You got to make it your own personal passion to do this stuff. If you're dependent on somebody else keeping you motivated, you're probably destined to fail. You're not going to be a mentor. I'm not going to mentor you. You got to be a self-starter, okay? I'm not saying that a husband and wife, that's a good team. You're married, okay? Or whatever, whatever couple. But the main thing is you want it to become a passion. If it's your passion, you'll not even feel like you ever worked a day in your life. I've been an investor since I was 19 years old. I still wake up in the morning and I'm like, what am I going to find? And I don't look necessarily, people think I work 40 hours a day just looking for stuff. No, I play. I go to the lake. I got a little lake house. I do a lot of different things. I enjoy my life. But when I'm driving, I'm like a radar. I'm scanning everything, okay? I'm scanning. And okay, there you go. Okay, you guys, we're going to make you a lot of money together. You're a good couple. Anyways, that's what I'm saying is, you got to make it your passion. And like I say, it's not that I'm working. When you love what you do, and if you love making money, and I do enjoy making money, it's fantastic. It's just the opportunities and the things that you can do for your family and kids. And I mean, nobody even has to talk about that, right? And I feel like I'm sounding like one of those bullshitters. Your family will thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not going there. But what I'm saying is, it's fun. If you enjoy what you do, that's the main thing. You got to enjoy it. And if you start to get into it, a lot of people say, oh, I don't want, they're afraid of stuff they've never experienced. Put your toe in the water. This is a $10, stick your foot in the water for $10. I guarantee you, you'll see. But I don't, you can bring them to water, but you can't make them drink, whatever. So, hey, what I want is people that are interested in working and people that are really interested in doing what it takes. And believe me, it doesn't compare to a job. You'll love it. You'll love it. It's just fun. The experiences, that come from investing. The thrill of making, even making $5,000 or something is a lot of money to some people. It's nice. I even like to make $5,000. If I make $5,000, I think, you know what, I can buy some really good wine. You know what I mean? For the rest of the year, maybe, or for maybe several months. But I like wine. I like good wine. But all right, guys, you like the live feeds? Thank you. I appreciate that. And you know what? If you get my book, I'm working on these things. If you do the mentoring, believe me, we're going to do some we're going to do nothing but this stuff. for the people that I mentor, this is exactly what we're going to do right here. And by consensus, we'll get to different topics and things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this book. This is going to be your workbook. And because I can talk to you in detail, and for every deal you've seen in here, there's 10 of them that I've done just like it, but they're slightly different. Every deal's a little bit different. And you know, and I thought about what, I've made that bonus chapter. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff, content I haven't put out yet, but there is stuff, it's just too hard to explain. But I can explain it like this. But there are some really, really cool things. We'll get to it. But hey, I appreciate everybody hanging out so long, and I would be happy to talk to Ben or anybody that I respect. Like, I think Ben's the real deal. But Ben seems hidden. I mean, I think when I hear Ben talk, it sounds like me talking, but I don't know that he's so interested in concentrating on helping you. Maybe, I don't know. But I like Ben a lot. Like I say, when I hear Ben talking, I'm saying, yeah, that's exactly what I'd say, and that's good. And actually, Manny has some good things to say too. But Manny's on a different level. Manny's a very, very wealthy guy. I can't relate to buying 24 houses at once and paying $40 million, or he sold one building for $40 million. I don't have a building that's worth that much. Most of my stuff's worth $3 to $5 million like that. I don't have I don't have those kinds of assets he's got. And I don't have $30 million in cars. But it sounds fun. But anyways, hey guys, thanks again. And be sure to subscribe. If you just got here, subscribe. Subscribe. You can always unsubscribe. If I piss you off or offend you, you can always unsubscribe later, but subscribe for now. And man, just try to ask really, people walk in and watch video. Don't ask a question after just watching one video. Dig in a little bit. Dig in. And I probably did 300 videos. I've poured concrete. I've done so many things that I've got. How to fix your roof. There's a lot of stuff like that. I can tell you about repairs. We'll get into it some other time. But there's a lot of money to be saved in being able to self-diagnose issues like roofs. Roofs are really expensive. So you want to be able to self-diagnose things to fix things like that. If you got a big flat roof, there's 20,000, 30,000 square feet, believe me, those are not cheap roofs to replace. It's a lot of stuff. I'm buying cars, just get a good deal. Actually, Ethan, look up, I have a book on how to buy a car. Not a book, I have a video on how to buy a car. And I show you exactly how I buy cars. All right, guys. Thanks. I'm going to be here all day. But I do appreciate you hanging out. So Flip Anything USA, get the book. Wake up and smell the real estate. Get the book. When you guys go in, if you can recommend that, if you're in even other channels, why not? Recommend people get the book. It'll bring more subscribers to me too. And the more people, it's more of a brain trust. That's what we want. We want a brain trust. We want really just super good thinkers. We got 50 states and all these different countries. Most states have 500 to 1,200 cities. Okay, so think about that. You could have 1,100 people just in one state, 1,100 different people, and every one of them's in a different city. So there's a lot of good things that we can share. I would hoard this information until I became rich. Now I don't care so much. But until I got really, really comfortable, I would have never shared this stuff. And I would have charged a hell of a lot more than what I charge. But all right, guys. Yeah, I got some, Rogelio, if you do get into the mentoring, I actually have a workbook like you're talking about, like I talk about in here. I make you one I'll pull out one from the past, maybe from 30 years ago. That's it. That's it, guys. Have a good night, and gals. Have a great evening, and we'll see y'all soon. Thanks.